to my YouTube channel, and we are in the Python basic series for beginners. So our today's topic is strings. So what is a string? String is a sequence of characters. It's an immutable data type. That means once it's created, you cannot change it. Strings are commonly used for storing and manipulating text data, representing names, addresses, and other types of data that can be represented as text, right? Then how can we create strings? Strings are created using single quote, double quotes, or triple quotes. So in the first string, in the example here, string variable string 1 is created where welcome to the Python is a string that is stored in that variable. When we try to print that variable, if we want to create a multiple line string, then we can use triple quotes, and we can also use double quotes. It's just like a single quotes, nothing different functionally than a single quote. So these are various different options. I'll just run this cell and we'll see what is there in string 1. So string 1, welcome to Python, this was printed first, and then whatever is there in string 2 got printed. As this is a multiple line string, you can see Python, and the next line it's for, and then it's beginners. Then moving ahead, we how can we access particular elements of a string, or say particular characters from a string? So to access those characters, we need to know what is a positive index and negative index. So positive index for a particular string, say for example, here I've taken my name. This is a string VISHAL, all right. And if I need to access any element from the string, I will have to either take assistance of positive index or negative index. So what is the positive index? Positive index starts from 0 and navigates from left to the right. And in negative index, it starts from -1 from the end of the string and navigates right to left. So in this example, we have taken string 1 is equal to Vishal, right? Now, if we want to print letter V from Vishal, then what I would do is I would mention string 1 square braces inside 0. The 0 is nothing but what? A positive index to get V. Suppose if I want S using negative indexing, then I would mention string 1 of -4. That is, in square bracket I will write -4. So first character, and then um, say if I want last character, then I can do here -1. So we'll have a look at it, see what happens. Yeah, see, the last character of my name L was displayed using negative index, and using positive index first character was displayed. Earlier I had mentioned if I want middle character S, I can do so using both positive index as well as negative index. So if I use positive index, S stands at index 2. I can write it this way, or I can write it this way. There are two ways to write or to get the output using different indexes. So if I run this cell, and there is a string name error that I'm correcting. Now if I run this string or run this cell, then I'll get the output S that I wanted. Okay. So this is the output I wanted. String using positive index 0, I got the first letter. Using positive index -1, I got the last letter, and then whichever specific letter I want, even that letter I can get it. So moving ahead, what is string slicing? String slicing is nothing but a subset of a string, or you can say from an existing string, if I want a small part of a string, then that particular concept is called as string slicing. Like we cut a slice from a cake, it's like cutting a small part of this entire string. Now here the example we have taken is India is my country. Then if I want to start from the letter or a character that is at second position, here D is at second position, I want to start from there and I want to end at 11th position, character at 11th position. So I would write it 2 is to 12 in the index. 12 will be excluded. This is like a range function that we used in for loop very often. All right. So if I run this code, you would see the respective output. At 2 it started, and then I, A, and so on till 11th character. Now if you count, then you would observe here space is also counted as an index value. All right. So in this case, D is at 2, then I, then A, 3, 4, and at the fifth position there is a space. Again here 6, 7, 8 position there is a space. M, Y, 9, 10, and 11th position there is a space. And on the 12th position it's C, but C got excluded in the first line. If you mention only the starting point, and if you don't mention anything till where you want to go, by default string will take the entire state string, that is the entire part. It will not skip any of the characters while displaying the output. Now you can do it this way as well. You can make use a combination of positive index and negative index. As long as the values support the range like 2 till -2, there should not be any problem, and the respective string will get printed. If you want to reverse a particular string, just mention -1 in the step size. This is called as something called a step size. This is just printing the string in a reverse way, because we are starting to count from the end, not from the start. So that's the reason. And the output, see, the entire string has been reversed over here. Now moving ahead, strings are immutable. String str2, I have defined one string in this variable str2, then I try to update the character in the index, which is not possible. That's the reason I have to take other variable str3 and I try to insert p instead of d in word India, and then I try to concat the part previous to p and part after p in the entire string India is my country, and try to get the result. Now this is possible because I'm not changing the original string. str2 is still India is my country. STR3 is India is my country. So if I want to make any change, I will have to store it in altogether a different string. The original string will remain the same. That's the reason it's called immutable. So STR1 is equal to India is my country. Moving ahead, print STR I am Indian. Now here, if you observe, and if I run this, you will get to see that the entire string variable, that is str1, got assigned newly. Earlier it was India is my country. Now it will contain I am an Indian. In this case, we haven't made any change, but we have assigned same variable to a different string. So entire string was replaced in this case. This is permissible in strings. Now moving ahead, string one, variable defined as string one is equal to I am Indian. Now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to delete a character that is at second index in this string 1. So that character is 0 1 to A. So A is that character I'm trying to remove. However, let's see if I'm able to remove it or not. I run this cell, it gives me str object doesn't support item deletion. The reason is, by deleting this particular item, ultimately what we are trying to achieve is we are trying to change the string, which is not allowed by its nature as it's immutable. So one cannot cheat Python using del keyword. Actually, the effect of the del keyword here is changing the string, which is not allowed. That's why it has shown us this error. Now moving ahead, again, now we try to delete the entire string. This is permissible, and we can see that string got deleted. So what we do is we delete the string and then try to print the same string. However, the string got deleted at this state. That's the reason print string doesn't display anything, and it shows name string one is not defined. Not defined in the sense it's already been deleted. Now, what is an escape sequence in Python? So there may be situations where you will have to use escape sequences. Now, escape sequences are required when there is some confusion in a statement that Python won't be able to understand, and it need to be removed. Okay, or else we need to format a string in some different way that Python may not be able to do it directly, so we will have to mention an escape sequence. Here, if you look at the first example, what we are trying to do is string 1, I am a student. Now you will see here that if I remove this backslash and the statement is just I am a student, now the Python interpreter will get confused looking at this statement because it doesn't know where to terminate the string. That is, if you look at this single code, it is creating a confusion. So Python doesn't understand the end of the statement is here or is the end of the statement here. That's the reason what we will do is we will place the backslash wherever the confusion is taking place. So here in this string, this single quote is creating confusion. So I'll just enter a backslash over there and try to run this code. See, now I would see I am a student. So by using this backslash, that is an escape sequence, I was able to convey whatever I wanted to the Python. Because in plain English, we are aware that Python doesn't understand where to terminate the string. That's the reason we need to use this backslash in this case. Now moving ahead, even one more example. See, in this example, study hard for Python exams. We can see this that this double quotes highlighted are creating confusions. So whichever codes or whichever characters are creating confusion, before that we will place a backslash, and that's what we did. Without this, it will throw an error. If you want to check, I'm just removing this backslash from here, and you can check whether it is throwing an error or not. See, it has thrown an error. So if I put a backslash back again, there should not be any error. Okay. Then if we want something to be printed at next line, now this is again, as I mentioned earlier, escape sequence could also be used for formatting data we want it to be the way we want it to be. And if we want England to be written on the next line, we'll mention simply backslash n. All right, this will give us n at the next line. Then if we want some tabular distance between two words, then we can use backslash t. This again is a escape sequence. Then if we want to neglect the part some part of a string, and we want to take some part of a string to be displayed and some part of a string we want to neglect, then we can use slash r. So whatever following the slash r would be displayed. So if I play this or run this, you would see in this example India is, after that I use slash r, after that whatever text is there that got displayed. Now let's move on to the next section, that is arithmetic operations, relational operators, logical operators, loops on strings. So on strings, which all different operators or operations can be performed, we'll just have a look quickly. Okay, so we can add two strings. That's the reason we get here bad plus ball, bad ball, it got concatenated. Then asterisk, this three stars into three, so 3 into 3 9, so 9 stars got printed. After that, Mumbai is equal to India, equal to India. No, it is not, so the result would be false. Mumbai is equal to Mumbai. Yes. Mumbai not equal to India. Yes, so that is also true. Now Mumbai greater than India, here the lexicographical order will be followed. So I comes before n, so I will be treated as smaller. So that's the reason we get true over here. Then Mumbai and Thane, Mumbai or Thane. So wherever and is mentioned, it takes whatever is there after and. All right, because without going for the without checking the next one, the and is not confirmed. A little bit weird behavior, but it will return Thane in case of Mumbai and Thane. And in case of Mumbai or Thane, the interpreter sees the or keyword and it feels it's not necessary to check what is there in or, because there is something in the string before or. So if this would have been empty, that would have been different case. But something is there and it encounters or, it throws that first word, first string that it encounters. Okay, that's the reason it has given output as Mumbai. Now here blank and Thane. Now this blank is treated as false in Python. So false by Python interpreter. So false and something is there in this string. So false and true will return you false, and that false is nothing but blank. Again, blank is treated like false. So false or true will return true. In this case, true in true, what is the value? Thane, and not false is again true. And then moving ahead, you would see some more escape sequences, you can say. String, again we are defining a string r and this particular path, string s1 is equal to r, and then again this particular path in a string. So wherever you want the escape sequence to behave normally, otherwise if you don't mention anything, if you don't mention this r, then what would happen is that this slash n would take this word east to the next line. This slash t would create some gap between the words easy and to, and so on. So if you want the string to be there in its raw format including backslashes, then we will have to mention this word r. Okay, now this escape sequence, it should be up there when I started this, so I'm deleting it from here to avoid any confusion. All right, so whenever you want the behavior of escape sequence to change and the string to remain as a raw string, you have to simply use this letter R before a string. Now here, in this case, I have given some path that S1, I have stored some path, and the path also has C colon backslash P backslash T backslash N. However, this backslash N doesn't take EW to the next line, or backslash T doesn't separate ask from parents. All right, I want the string to be in the raw format. That's the reason I mentioned R before the string. After that, moving on to next formatting option with the format method. If you look at this, here is the string we are all, and then curly braces, and then string termination. and dot, so string dot format method inside that Indian. So whatever you mention inside the format method, whatever string, it will populate inside the curly brace and you'll get this output, we are all Indians. Then moving ahead, again the same method. This time, instead of directly placing the output, we have used indexing and reordered things. So in format, we have mentioned cultural is and India, and we want the output to be India is cultural. So we go by the index position. India here is in second position, so second two is placed in order at the first place. Then is, that is has one index one, that is placed second, and cultural, which has zeroth index, is placed last, and that's the reason I get the output India is cultural. Now, what is the next point? Name is equal to bond, and this f before the string formats my name is in the curly braces. This bond will be passed. The reason being, in this variable name, bond was declared earlier. So you can use this format method. You can also use just f character to format the string. Now there are some common functions and methods used by string. S1 is equal to Vishal. This is a string because some common function and len, max, mean are used, and sorted. You can see outputs of all this first and then I'll explain. So what is the length? The number of characters in the string, that is 6, maximum S1. So S. The reason S because it is comparing the ASCII values of all these letters. So obviously ASCII value of V would be smallest because it's a capital one, and all others are small letters. In that, what was maximum? It was S ASCII value. That's the reason when max was the max, when we printed max of S1, it gave you S. When we printed max of min of S1, it gave us capital V, and length was already discussed. Moving ahead, we are taking a string S2 is equal to Sachin space Tendulkar, and we are trying to execute some different methods like capitalize, title, upper, lower, swap case. Just run it and check the output. Now in capitalize, it will capitalize only first character of a string. Then S2 dot title, it will capitalize first letter of each word, the S and T. S2 dot upper will capitalize all the letters in the string. S2 dot lower will get the all letters into small case. S2 dot swap case will change the case of each letter in that string or each character in that string. If it's capital, it will make it as small. If it is small, it will make it as capital. So you can see the respective outputs. Okay. Then as we proceed to the next section, if you want to find the count of particular character in a string, now here I'm assigning a variable to a string, assign string to the variable India is my country, and print one dot count I. So I am counting how many times I has occurred in this string. Now notice capital I is not counted here because Python is case sensitive. So if I run this, I get a count as str1 dot count I as 2 because small I appeared only 2 times. Then after that, just hold on. After that, str1 dot find I. Now it is finding the index number of I. Whichever I it encountered first, that index number will be returned. Okay. Then in the next example, we are using even more methods like starts with and ends with. It just returns true or false if the particular string starts with some word or letter or ends with some word or letter. In this case, the string is let's go and play. So it starts with let's, so that is true, and it ends with lay. So it's a subset of word play, but still it ends with lay letters. That's why it is also true. Then there are few more methods like isAlnum, isAlpha, isDigit, isIdentifier. So isAlnum checks if the string is only alphanumeric. IsAlpha will check if the string is only alphabetic. Both of the cases are false. Then isDigit will check if the string is contains only digits. That's true in this case. And isIdentifier will check whether a given string is a valid name or a valid identifier. Name cannot start with only with number, so that's the reason it's giving us false. Then going ahead, we can split a particular string. So if I run this, we have a string, you are brilliant, and when we split the string, it has splitted the string using the space, and it has separated the words, and we get a list using list separated value, list that is comma separated values. Okay, so there is a function called as split. Again, if you want to join it back, we can use the function join, and whichever character we want to join, we definitely can, because we have three different words, you are and you are brilliant, and we can use space, we can use hyphen, whatever. In this case I have used hyphen and joined the string back. Okay. And lastly, there is a method called as replace, where you can replace a particular word in a string. In this case I have replaced hi with hello. So the initial string was hi word, and the new string will be hello word, since hi is replaced with hello. So let's see the output. So these are few functions and methods. There may be many functions than what we have seen, but I believe these are frequently used functions, and you can just have a look at those. And uh, as you progress in your coding journey, maybe you can explore others as well. So that's all for strings. I hope you had better understanding of how strings work, what is string slicing, how to access a particular element from a string, then the concept of string being immutable, and escape sequences in string, how to format a string, what all operations are allowed on the string, and what are the common functions and methods that are used by string. So that's all about it. Thank you for watching this video. We will soon meet in the next session. Thank you very much.